It was my way of building rapport, was my way of building that relationship, which just completely melted the ice. The guard went down, the guy even hugged me.
Dealmakers, what's up?
My vision is to completely and utterly disrupt the market for buying and selling small businesses all over the world.
Hey guys, Carl Allen. Welcome to day 4 of the first 10 days to buying your very first business. So today we're talking about meetings. So you've dialed in your mindset, you've established your buy box, you've gone out and you've done some deal origination like we talked about yesterday. So now you've got sellers that are ready to meet you about you potentially acquiring their business. So when you go and have a seller meeting for the very first time, there are 3 goals that you're looking to achieve. The first one is to continue building rapport. Really, really important. The second thing that you're looking to do is to start to vet the business. And there's 5 killer questions that I'm going to walk you through that you need to be asking the seller. And then the third part is to go under something called an NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement, so that you can then get the financials for the business. So if you've been dealing with business brokers, so remember, brokers are only one of the 4 ways that we typically originate deals. You've probably signed an NDA with the broker and got the numbers before you actually go to the meeting. But if you do enough market deals, so if you're doing direct approaches, if it's a referral from a wealth manager or a CPA or a lawyer or somebody else that you've spoken to, or you've been leveraging social media like LinkedIn and Facebook and other groups and networks to get deals, then you've probably not got any financial information at all about the business. So you still will need to do the NDA. So the NDA is the third step. So the first part of the meeting, and this is really, really critical, is you've got to continue to build rapport. Now, hopefully you've already built some rapport with the seller, either from the letter that you've written or the sponsor in from somebody in your network, or the initial conversation that you've had with them over the phone. So as soon as you get to the meeting, you shook hands, you've introduced yourself, you sat down, they fixed you a coffee or water, whatever. Do not, under any circumstances, dive straight into questions about the business. You want to be building a relationship. So just get to know them a little bit more. Like, where do they live? Have they got children, grandchildren? Have they got hobbies? What sports teams are they into? Do they drink wine? Do they drink beer? Where do they go on vacation? Doesn't matter. Spend at least 20 minutes, ideally 30 minutes, just getting to know them. And if you've done your research on the business owner, if you found them on LinkedIn, you found them on Facebook, you've Googled the business, they've won awards and they've just hired a new member of staff, or they just won a new client, or they checked in at the Red Sox, or they've just been on vacation to Grand Cayman and checked into a particular bar. Whatever it is, find out what you can about them. And you don't have to do this work. You can hire a VA in the Philippines, $7, $8 an hour. They'll do all of that research for you. And then really kind of get to know them, build a friendship. Because back in the day when I was a Wall Street M&A guy, it's all about math and financial engineering. But in our piece of the market, Main Street, not Wall Street, it's about relationships. It's people buying and selling businesses from other people. So you really, really want to get that relationship really kind of solid. And really quick story about my relationship building is I was doing some direct deal origination. I had a conversation with a seller of an engineering business. And in that kind of initial call, this wasn't face-to-face, this was an initial conversation. I found out that the seller just had a grandchild. He came from a very kind of football kind of mob city where there's 2 teams. There's a red team, Liverpool, blue team, Everton. This is in the UK. And his daughter had married a supporter of the rival team to his. He was a blue and Everton fan. His daughter had married a guy who was a Liverpool fan, and he took great pride in dressing the granddaughter up in a red baby soccer kit, not a blue baby soccer kit. And every time the daughter would bring the baby around to the grandparents, she'd be wearing this kind of red kit, and it would, cause him some concern, some upset, some distress. So he told me about that, and I called my assistant straight after the call. I was going to visit him in the business about a week later. I said, hey, go online and buy me a baby Everton blue soccer kit, which she did. It was like $20. And then when I went for the meeting, I gave it to him. I said, hey, I felt really bad that your son-in-law's doing this thing and wanted you to have a baby soccer kit. And he'd probably bought her one himself, but it was the thought, it was my way of building rapport, it was my way of building that relationship, which just completely melted the ice. The guard went down, the guy even hugged me. So it was incredible that we kicked the meeting off with something so powerful. Now, I'm not recommending you go out, you buy soccer kits for their grandkids or you do anything like that, but just find a way, looking at their background, their LinkedIn, their Facebook, going on Google, find out some stuff about them, and then just talk about it. And talk about it as if you're interested in it. Find things that relate to you. So if you've been to Grand Cayman on vacation and they have, you can talk about what you did. If you're a Red Sox fan and you know that they like the Red Sox, you can talk about that, the last game or how are things this season or, what's going on. Just build a friendship. Make them like you based on those commonalities. So that's the first thing. You've got to continue rapport. You've got to build a relationship. Now, number two, what you've then got to do is you've got to start the business. So if you've had some financial information, if it's a broker deal, you can go through the numbers and review those. But there's 5 killer questions that you want to be asking the business owner. So question number 1, really, really important. Why are you selling? Before you go anywhere else, ask the question, why are you selling the business? Right? Really, really important. Because if we can understand the seller psychology, then that will help us in the deal structuring and the negotiation. So typically business owners, they might want to retire, they might be sick, they might be dying in some cases, not just them, could be a family member, they might be burnt out, frustrated, run out of ideas, they might be bored. It doesn't matter. Really try and understand the seller psychology by asking them why are they selling. And look at their body language. If they go, oh, I'm sick of this business. I've been in this business for 25 years and I'm just, it's my time, I'm done. If somebody says that, then you can probably negotiate a deal that's very, very creative, right? You can leverage their seller psychology. If they turn around and say, well, you know what? We've smashed this business the last 3 years. We're at all-time highs, revenue, profit. I want to sell it for the maximum amount of money. Whoever's crazy enough to cut me a $500 million check, I'm going to do the deal, right? Well, clearly that's not the right type of seller, and you're probably not going to go and do that deal. Bearing in mind, 80% of business owners sell their businesses for non-financial reasons. They're talking about preserving legacy, protecting employees, all of those amazing things. So asking why they're selling the business and really kind of drilling into that is really, really important. Number 2, who runs the business? So what you're trying to ascertain here is the owner dependent inside of the business? Is the business owner dependent? So one of the questions I sometimes ask is, hey, if you were to go on a 4-week vacation, you had no cell phone, no internet, and you were marooned on a desert island for 4 weeks, what would happen to your business in that in that interim period? If they say, oh, wow, well, you know what, I'd come back, the whole place would be in chaos, revenues would be down, or my customers would be fleeing, then, that's a problem business for you to buy, because the seller is very, very kind of critical to a lot of the day-to-day operations. If they say, well, hey, if I went out on my vacation, I didn't check in, I've got Jeff's my number 2, he runs the day-to-day, I work more on the business, not in the business, Jeff will kind of get things handled, he can make the right decisions. That's fantastic. That's a great business for you to buy, because you can take the owner out, replace yourself as the owner investor, and then Jeff can continue as your GM, running that business for you and continuing to do the day-to-day activity. So understanding who runs the business is really, really important. Question number 3, what's your marketing strategy? So what will blow your mind as you go and talk to sellers is how little marketing most small businesses do, whether in the UK, Australia, US, Canada, it doesn't matter. Most small businesses don't do any marketing. It's all repeat business and it's all word of mouth referrals. So don't be surprised 4 times out of 5, a seller says to you, well, Carl or Jeff or Pete, this is what's great about our business. We don't do any marketing. It's all repeat customers coming back year on year. And then they go and they tell their friends, and we get these word of mouth referrals. Those are fantastic deals to do, because you've got a rock solid core of customers every single year. And then when you start to put some marketing and some growth into that business, and we'll get into that on day number 10, you're growing the business over and above a very rock solid base of revenue and profit. So understanding what's their marketing strategy, and if they've got one, talk about it. If they're marketing online, what's their cost per customer acquisition, what's their marketing budget, are they using Facebook ads, are they using Google SEO, whatever they're doing, are they advertising in the newspaper, on the radio, trade shows, doesn't matter what it is. Find out what's their marketing strategy, because remember, when we talked about your buy box, we talked about your value add. What can you add to the business in terms of a value driver? You might have a network, you might have some marketing skills which are complementary to the business that you've already got. So that's question number 3. Question number 4, this is a really cool question. Question number 4 is, I asked them if they weren't selling, what would they do to grow? This is really, really important, right? So you're looking to get a lot of that low-hanging fruit, because a lot of the reasons people sell is they see a lot of growth opportunities and they just don't want to go through that pain and suffering. A lot of business owners are happy kind of ticking over year on year with the same financial performance and generating the income that they need to live the life that they've got. They see all this opportunity out there and they don't want to pursue it because they're old and tired and frustrated and distressed, and they just don't want to do it. But you want to understand what that is. You want to tap into that, because that might drive you to a higher multiple on the valuation and might look at you structuring the deal in a certain way. So you always want to ask, what are the growth opportunities that the seller would capitalize on if they were not selling the business? And then question number 5, I want to know about the competition. So I ask a question like, who do you compete with the most in the marketplace, and how do you beat them, right? And then I'm also going to ask, when they beat you, how do they beat you to win the customer? So what I'm trying to understand here is something called the USP. What's the unique selling proposition? And sometimes a business owner will say to you, well, I actually don't know how we beat our customers in the market. I actually don't know how we beat our competitors and get those customers. I don't know what I don't know. So I say, well, hey, if you were to call your top 5 customers and say, hey, why did you do business with us versus competition? What would they say? What are the unique characteristics about the business that make them do business with you? Because every business is unique in some way. I talk about something called the 3 uniques. Like in any business I buy or I own, I look at what are the 3 things that we do that are different to the rest of the market. Some of the competition might do one of those things, a couple of them might do 2 of those things, but it's very, very rare that if you've got 3 specific uniques about your business, that anybody else in the market has those same uniques, because the world's all about differentiation. There's only 3 ways you can differentiate as a business. You can differentiate on price, which I would never recommend you do, because either Amazon or China will kill you in the end. Number 2, you can differentiate on quality. So do you have a higher quality of product or service than the rest of the competition? And number 3, you can differentiate on service. So are you taking care of your customer much better, much more efficiently? You're wowing them more than anybody else. If you can compete on quality and service, you will have an absolutely phenomenal business. So those are the 5 killer questions that I'm asking sellers. And then the final point is, once you've gone through building rapport, so you've built a relationship, you've gone through vetting the business through those 5 questions, that's going to give you credibility, that's going to give you trust, it's going to give you intelligence and real chops in that sector in the eyes of the seller. Then the seller's thinking, wow, this is a great person, he's probably going to be a great safe pair of hands, he knows what he's talking about or what she's talking about. Then you sign something called a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA, and then the seller will give you all the financials inside of the business. And that is what we're going to be talking about tomorrow on day number 5. I'll be walking you through what are the types of financial information and other data that you need to do like a desktop evaluation of the business, how to calculate its value, how to look at a deal structure, how to understand where the financing is going to come from, all those different things. Then day number 6, I'll show you how to value and structure a business and look at the fundability of a deal. So I hope you found that useful. Just to summarize in meetings, number 1, go and absolutely build world-class rapport, phenomenal relationship. Number 2, vet the business using those 5 killer questions. And then number 3, sign an NDA, get the financials, and then that will serve you for tomorrow. So I hope you found that useful, and I will see you guys soon. Until then, bye for now.
Hey guys, I'm Carl Allen. I'm the founder of Dealmaker Wealth Society. I've done tens of billions of dollars of deals over the last 30 plus years. If you're new to my channel, definitely hit like and subscribe so that you can get all of my amazing Dealmaker content in real time. You're not going to miss any of the outstanding information that I'm going to share with you. And if there's a question that you've got, if there's something that you want to know the answer for and you want me to speak to it, definitely hit me up in the comment section and I will record those videos for you and I will get them on this channel as soon as possible. So love having you part of this YouTube community and I can't wait to serve you. Until then, bye-bye for now.